And, I've been through, as Jake mentioned, a lot of ups and downs in my business. I've hit rock bottom, so to speak, several times, whether that's with Success Club or feeling like I've been talking to people and not getting a lot of momentum, and just have constantly kind of, felt like I just really needed to continue to evolve. So as Jake's talked about, Bridget Wheeler and I are success partners, and we were actually put together towards the beginning of our businesses because Bridget started about 6 weeks after I did. And Bridget and I both kind of hit the ground running. And then what happened was, for me specifically, is I sort of started to lose a lot of not only the momentum in my business, but also like the clarity around why I was doing this, why I wanted to show up, why I wanted to turn this into something, significant for my family. And I started to lose sight of that more and more. And in the meantime, Bridget just kind of remained steadfast. And part of like her and I's working relationship got to a point that I kind of felt like, I remember telling Bridget, like I had gotten to a point where I felt like I was holding her back, like that I wasn't clear enough on my goals. I wasn't clear enough on what I was doing. I wasn't clear enough on, what my overall vision and mission was. And I didn't want to be a missing, like a hindrance in any way on what Bridget was doing, because she was so just driven and ready to roll from the beginning. And she has always been that way. And for me, like there was a point in my business, just getting set up with a success partner like her in the first place, where I was super intimidated by that. And I didn't really know how to, work with her in a way that was really going to make both of us feel like we could continue to press forward, and just support one another. And so last year, 2017, was a really hard year for me. Like I was pregnant with our third baby. We moved across the country from Chicago to Park City, Utah. I had lots of months where I was not getting momentum. I wasn't hitting Success Club. I felt like, why am I even really doing this anymore? It didn't really feel like I was getting to a place where I was able to actually make sustainable change with my business. So I really backed off of like my relationship with Bridget. And that was something that, was really hard for me. But like I said, to be truthful, like I really didn't want to hold her back in any way. And I just didn't really know how to navigate the success partner relationship in the beginning, because I think having the right kind of success partner is really valuable and really important in this business. So long story short is, at the end, like once Jillian was born, November last year, that was when Jake and Amber announced out the March Florida trip that we all took at the beginning of this year. And I remember sitting in the hospital when Jillian was born, and I had seen Amber post about like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do to qualify. Like you have to get back to Diamond. You have to hold Diamond. You have to rake advance to Diamond, whatever it is. And I remember feeling in that moment, like I had to make a decision to either do this or not do it. Like it kind of came to a point where I like didn't want to be wishy-washy anymore. Like I needed to figure out what I was doing and why, and just make a commitment to go all in and finally do it. So I reached that rank, got back to holding Diamond, was awarded the March trip. And after that, like I started to feel some more momentum in my business. But what happened as I got into the summer of this year in July, like I realized that I was still doing pretty much the same stuff. I was getting more consistent with hitting Success Club 5 or 10, but that was it. And the more I've learned about our business, and the more I've learned from like top coaches in our organization, and the more I leaned into really learning from like top 10 coaches and stuff like that, and some of them speak to me so much, I have learned that I need to be doing more as far as like the behaviors go when it comes to actually scaling my business beyond Success Club 5, Success Club 10, and just sticking at Diamond. So the reality is, guys, like I hit Diamond in February of 2017. I've been Diamond ever since. All last year, I was a wishy-washy Diamond. I was a shaky Diamond. I kept losing it and I would gain it back. I would lose it and I would gain it back. Finally, November of last year, I decided enough is enough. So I've held Diamond since November, but I'm still a Diamond. Like I'm still at Diamond. And so in July of this year, I like really got to a point where I started to brainstorm with Bridget again, because she's just been so steadfast and such a motivator and such an amazing resource to our entire team. Like I knew I needed to have that kind of consistency and energy back into my life. Like I knew I needed that. And I knew that if I was going to really be able to scale my business and push forward out of my comfort zone, it was going to be with a person that was going to challenge the heck out of me someone like Bridget Wheeler. And so her and I started talking in July, and we kind of just started brainstorming more and more. And we kind of decided, maybe we should start running more of our businesses together. Maybe we should start partnering again. Maybe we should be success partners again. And then she's really done so much research about top coaches in the organization and what they're doing. And one of the best coaches that she's learned a lot from is Kate Morgan. And some of you guys may know that name. But Kate Morgan, she started in December of last year, and she's number 17 in the company. I just met her on Saturday at our Super Saturday. And she literally just put out this training about her invitation process and how she makes it super simple. And Bridget presented it to me and was basically like, I think we need to do this. I think we need to just try something super different, 10X our business in a totally different way that's super out of our comfort zone. You're at Diamond, I'm at Diamond with Tate's account at 1 star. I'm still trying to build and continue how to figure out what scaling actually looks like. So that's kind of where I am now with this idea of trying to 10X the preseason that we're in to really set myself up for a successful 2019. So I know that was long-winded, Jake, but hopefully it answered some of your questions.
Well, actually, it was great because I'm getting blasted by Amber for not being sitting in a basement right now. So thank you. You just keep right on talking, and I will be to my destination in a moment. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is kind of getting into the basics. So we talk about these mass invitations, but from let's start on the ground floor of your power hour. You get your day started. You're starting to whatever, create conversations or send invitations. Walk us through that process.
Okay, so Bridget and I just started this massive inviting process October 1st. So one of the things that I want to make really, really clear is I am having success right now here in October, but it is not related to the massive action I'm taking right now. I want to be really clear on that because that's not how this business works, as we all know. It takes months and time to really figure out if a new strategy that you're implementing actually works. So while I'm 10Xing my behaviors and my mindset is shifting related to the inviting process and how I'm structuring my power hour, the success I'm seeing right now really is based on the work I've already been doing the past couple months. So it's kind of coincidental that I seemingly have some success right now, and I'm also doing massive inviting related to this preseason timing of getting ready for 2019. So I really want to make that clear because that's not the reality of this business. So I don't want anyone on this call to think that all of a sudden one day I woke up and decided I was going to do this 10Xing behavior and my business blew up like that, because that's just not reality. And that's not what's actually happening. So as far as what my power hours look like, what my invites look like, how I've changed my mindset, there's two things. The first thing is actually the beginning of August, I started investing in it actually before Bridget did, but I started using 21 Social, which I know you guys have heard a little bit more about from other coaches. But 21 Social is a service that helps you build your following. So I've been using that service. What you do with those services, or 21 Social specifically, is you give them names of influencer accounts on Instagram to go in and look at and follow and potentially ping people that are following those influencer accounts because you relate to them or you have similar likes as them, or you feel like they might be part of your overall, person or tribe, right? That's how 21 Social works. So the reality is I have people that are coming onto my page and following me because 21 Social is helping me do the follow, unfollow, all that kind of jazz. I don't have the service do any kind of commenting or messaging. I do all of that personally. That is very important to me in my business because I don't want to come across as a bot. So I let them do some of the basic stuff to get people into my page. And then after that, I take it from there. So I do all of the personal messaging. I do all the personal commenting, connecting, adding to collections, loving on people. That all comes from me directly. So I want to make sure you guys understand that piece too. So basically my power hour now is just a massive block of inviting. And what I do is I start with targeting the new people on my in my following. So what I've been doing most recently, because Bridget has inspired me to do it, is I've been getting up at 5 a.m. I do my massive inviting for an hour, and then I hit my workout before the kids get up. And like by the time it's 8:00 in the morning, I have done almost all of my work. And it's been a very freeing feeling, because the rest of the day is literally just me being able to kind of
Okay, honey, go ahead.
Kind of casually go through like loving on people and commenting and encouraging. So I don't have to feel like I need this intense focused time throughout the rest of the day. Like I get up and I get it done and focus that time in the morning, and it makes a huge difference in how I feel the rest of the day. So my invites go straight to the people that follow me. I don't care if you've been following me for 2 minutes or 3 days. Like most of the people I talk to right out of the gate are people that are just coming onto my page. And Kate Morgan, and I'm happy to share the training with you guys that Bridget and I looked at, but Kate Morgan positions it like this with the inviting process. Like if you're showing up consistently, if you're putting in the work to show up on stories, share your heart, post, be present on your page, be consistent, add value, like that is your relationship building piece. Like that is like your lifeblood to your business. And so when people are coming in and following you and decide that they're going to follow your content, you basically view it like a storefront. And I know we've heard this analogy maybe a little bit, but Kate actually gave another awesome analogy at our Super Saturday that I'm going to share. But I've just completely changed my mindset on the invitation process, guys. Like I am no longer allowing myself to get super hung up on this idea of having to build this amazing relationship first before I invite. Like my start to building a relationship is inviting you right out of the gate and telling you what I offer. I'm acknowledging your presence in my storefront. I'm thanking you for being here and being a part of my journey and learning more about me, and like being open to my vulnerability and my sharing my heart online. And by the way, this is what I offer. This is my current group that's coming up next. Is it something that you're interested in? And literally that's it. Like it's nothing crazy. It's nothing over the top. It's not like asking all kinds of personal questions. It's literally just right out of the gate. This is who I am. Thank you for being here. I'm acknowledging that you're walking into my store. Here's what I offer. Like, is it something you're interested in or not? And if not, awesome. I look so forward to like supporting you on your journey and you supporting me on my journey and staying connected. So like that is the initial part of my building the relationship now. And like I've really tried to change my mindset around this, because I don't have to worry about who I'm inviting anymore. It's literally like who's coming in to follow my page, who's watching my stories, who's liking my posts, who is like newly engaging in my content. And those are the people I'm inviting. And because I have a service like 21 Social helping me, which I wish I would have done a really long time ago, like that has been a godsend. Like the combination of the mindset shift related to inviting plus having a service help me has been a godsend. And so that's what my power is, guys. Like right now, I'll show you this. And Jake, you're driving, so please don't look at this. But my goal every day since October 1st is to invite 62 people a day, Monday through Friday, every week. And so I'm on my 4th week. And the reason it's 62 is because that's what my notebook can fit. Like that's how many lines I have in my notebook. And this is literally what Kate Morgan teaches. And it's just like writing down the Instagram handle once I send them the invitation. And then if they respond to me, they get a circle. If they say yes, they want more information, they get an orange highlight. And that's how I'm tracking. And it's literally paper and pen. And I never really thought this was going to ever work for me, guys, but this has proven to be the most successful way for me to track to date. Like I have not been able to really track this thoroughly yet. And I will tell you guys, like being able to go through this, do massive action as my power hour, and see the action that I am taking every single day, again, has been super freeing for 2 reasons. 1, because I know I'm doing the work. I can see it right here. 2, like I am not a numbers person. And so I've always been the coach who has felt like, oh my goodness, I'm talking to so many people. I have so many conversations going on right now. There's just no way I'm not going to hit Success Club. There's just no way I'm not going to make waves in my business this week or this month. But the reality is, guys, like I didn't really have that precise of a tracking system. I had a lot in my head, more than I wanted to realize. And as someone who's not a numbers person, this has been super valuable to me because it's helping me see the massive action it actually takes to get people to even respond. And then from there, what is the response rate of people actually saying yes? And then from there, what is the actual conversion of people actually joining me? And you guys will be surprised. Like if you try to do something like this, you will notice very vividly that it's really actually about 8 to 10%. So I send 62 invites a day. I'm lucky if I get like 6 to 10 yeses, sometimes a little more than that. And then even less say, yes, I want more information. And then even less convert. So this has been super valuable for me because I am not a numbers person and I know zero about sales. Like everything I've learned about sales has been from being in this business. So I know nothing about a sales funnel. I know nothing about like what it takes, like massive numbers all the way down to conversion. And so seeing this has been super eye-opening for me because it's helping me see the actual mass volume it takes with reach outs to get people to convert all the way down, guys. Like from all of the invites I've done, I have to go back and total it, but I don't have any conversions yet. Remember, this is only the 4th week I've done this. I don't have any conversions yet. I have quite a few yeses. I have quite a few people that have all the information so they can decide whether or not they want to join, but I don't have any conversions yet. So like, this is very much a like still learning as I go, just trying something different, see what happens type of deal. But I knew that if I was going to actually get out of Diamond, which like I said, I've been at for 18 months, like I needed to do something just drastically different. And so this is where I'm at.
Can I interject on a couple points there, Erin?
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, first things first, like, I mean, I love that you acknowledge you're using a social app. Like, I continue to go to all these trainings, and you get to hear people on the national wake-up call telling you how to build an Instagram following. I would give anything for someone to just admit that they're paying $39.99 a month. Like, that would kill me. I would just lose it if I listened to a national wake-up call and had somebody admit that they're paying $39.99. The nice thing is, Amber always talks about is that you have of this social service app that you're paying for, but it's all what you use it for. Because if you have all these followers coming in and you never message them, you never take any action with them, it's going to feel really good. You're going to feel like you're a quote unquote influencer, but you're not really doing anything with them. And the thing that's even like weirder about it is these are all these like new people who have suddenly came in and found you, but you don't know them, and yet you're still nervous to send them an invite because you don't want to offend them. So I love that you're taking the action. And I think if anything, because there's going to be people that aren't going to be at a place in their business where they feel like reinvesting, it's still that mindset that you're getting into, that you're not afraid of the no. That's not holding you back, and you're at least going to present the business to them and give them an opportunity to decide yes or no. What we do way too long is we sit there and we wait and we wait and we agonize, and we're concerned with what people are going to think. And I'll even say this, like, I love that you're acknowledging that, hey, they're not converting quite yet, but I'm still sending the invites, because that's a huge component. Like, you know as well as I do that we send enough of them, and we probably could have sent 62 in a day, but we only sent 3 because we were nervous what people were going to think of us.
Right.
And so I love that you're acknowledging that it's still a work in progress, but like that mindset, maybe you can like hone on it too, like just like from where you've been to where you are, that mindset piece where like, I don't care if I don't hear back, and I don't care if I get ghosted, and I don't care if I get a no. That's a huge component to why this is working for you, because you had to get over yourself in order to be able to do that.
Right. I will say, like, so the whole thing that Kate Morgan talks about with this strategy, guys, is, yeah, you're not going to get, like, you're lucky if you're going to get 10% response rate, but I will tell you what is happening is all these people are now seeing me messaging them and acknowledging their presence and telling them that I appreciate them being on my page. So now they're coming to watch my stories, and now they're starting to engage in my content. Like, remember, like this is what I'm using to start the building of my relationship now. Like, it's literally an invite right out of the gate. And it doesn't matter if they ghost me or not. They now know I'm in their inbox. They now know that I see them, and they're starting to come to my content. So I have to be honest, guys, like even 6 months ago, like I was just so into my head about feeling like I need to build this huge relationship. I need to know how many kids this person has. I need to know where they live, and I need to know all their goals, and I need to know all this stuff before I can invite them. guys, the response I'm getting from doing this massive action and waiting and hemming and hawing is literally the same. Like, I'm getting ghosted the same amount. I'm getting responded to the same amount. The difference is now I have massive action happening, so I'm getting more responses, but it's just like trying to get through the conversion faster. And the only way I'm going to be able to really do that is continue with this massive inviting action. And this is something that we hear all the time. Like, none of this is earth-shattering information. Like, we hear all the time that you have to invite, you have to follow up. Like, every like motivational person or top coach I've been following as of late just talks about the power of just doing all kinds of invitations and like telling people, like, this is what I offer. It doesn't need to be like slimy or like crazy in any way. And I know I see Maria asked, is it coaching or challenge group invites? Guys, I'm like not deciphering between invites anymore. Like, I literally just say, like, this is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about. Are you interested in being a part of our community? And then I'm going to let people, like, my mindset shift has also been like, you're signing up as a preferred customer with me. Like, that's how I do business. It's most cost effective for you. It helps me as I'm building my team. That is how you will register if you join me. And because of that, like, it gets people in, it lets them decide for themselves. Because I think when, like, for me personally, getting so into like trying to build the relationship and trying to like figure out all the information before the invite, and then like trying to go through like the customer thing and like the conversion of customer to coach, like, it's just so much nonsense. Like, it's been like sharing too much information with people. Like, I'm just giving people the information of what I offer and I'm letting them decide. Like, I don't need to be making all these decisions for them. Like, that's been my biggest problem is I was getting too far into my head, and then I was making all these assumptions for really no reason. Like, it's been very glaringly obvious that doing this massive invitation process is not offensive to people. Like, nobody's blocked me. Nobody has said I'm a crazy lady. Like, nobody, like, you either respond or you don't. And most of the responses I've get have been super cordial. And like, a lot of people just saying, thank you for thinking of me. And I want to share this really quick about the mindset shift, because Kate Morgan was at our Super Saturday here in Salt Lake City on Saturday. And she gave an awesome analogy again about like the storefront mentality. And she related it to a party and just saying, like, if you were hosting a party and you posted up on social media, hey, I'm having a party. It's Saturday at 7 p.m. Bring an appetizer, and literally left the post up, how many people would come, guys? Like, how many people would feel like, oh, well, she must be talking to me, and this random post she put on her social feed, like, clearly she's talking to me, right? And then, like, how many people, myself included, like, if I saw that, guys, like, she made a perfect analogy. If I saw that and didn't get like a personal invitation to the party, I would get into my head about it. Like, oh, clearly she doesn't mean me. Like, clearly she didn't mean to include me to something like that. Like, I don't know if we're even that good of friends. Like, I don't even know if I'd be the right person to be there. Like, I don't even know if it's the right, like, whatever, like the right situation, I guess. So she just related it to basically like, think of it that way. Like, if you post up like an invitation to a party, so to speak, or a challenge group or an opportunity, take it that step further and say, hey, I thought of you. Like, thank you so much for being here. I want to invite you to this. I want you to be a part of this. I want you to feel special about me thinking about you and noticing that you're here. And I want you here in this. And it's such a powerful analogy because it's so true. Like, how many of us would really feel like we were included in a party invitation if somebody just like randomly posted it up on their social media feed? Like, none of us would assume that that person necessarily meant us. But when you reach out to someone specifically and say, hey, come to my party. It's at 7 p.m. Bring an appetizer. I'd love to have you there. Like, how good does that feel? Like, that inclusion and that like acknowledgement. So that's been a part of the mindset shift too, guys. Like, just telling people you're thinking of them and that you appreciate them for being there to see like your vulnerability and your heart online, and just telling them what you offer. Like, nobody so far I've done, I mean, I'd have to again total it up. I'm on my third week. I've been averaging about 320 invites a week. So I'm already over 1,000. Like, nobody has blocked me. Nobody has been offensive. Like, nobody has said anything rude. So it's like, it's just been very eye-opening for me to really shift in this capacity.
Could you touch on how you're continuing to have like an ongoing conversation, or how are you continuing to build a relationship with people beyond that initial invite?
Yes. So part of my power hour, in addition to literally just doing invites, is adding people to my collections like Amber has taught us. So like as I'm going through my invites and I feel like some profiles speak to me more than others, I'll add them to my collections. And then like obviously in my notebook, like I have people circled and highlighted based on who's responded to me. So I really make sure I make a note to go back to those profiles. But I am learning like the more I like am commenting and putting people in collections and repetitively go back to people's profiles, like that's what's starting to show up in my feeds more and more. So it's like really helping me hone in on like the people I want to continue to stay connected with. So really like it's just adding to my collections in addition to doing the invites, and then just really making a point like throughout the day to go back and love on people. Like that process has not changed. Like none of what I am doing now replaces the importance of still loving on people and still building relationships and still learning more about them. Because even if someone is saying no to me, guys, and I've gotten a lot of no's, my response back is awesome. Like, it's been so awesome to connect with you. I can't wait to like continue to like support one another on our journeys, and just continue to be in touch. Like, is that okay? And pretty much everyone has said yes. And then it's just continuing to love on people, like their stuff. I mean, it's just exactly what has already been taught to us. This is just like an extra element related to the invite piece and just taking some of that pressure and like just overanalyzation of it out of it, because that has not helped me so far in my business.
Sure. The other piece that I'd love for you to touch on is, and this might be a very simple answer, Erin, but like I'm looking for simple answers. When you start finding these people, where are you finding them? Are they the people, and like these are people who have started following you? Are they watching your stories? Are they engaging in your posts? Do you go through your posts when you post something and like acknowledge anybody new that you didn't have on your list before? Like I'm talking super 101, like let's give people where you're finding everyone.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I'll be super honest. Like a lot of the people I'm finding out of the gate are people that 21 Social is helping me bring onto my page. Like that is a lot of where I'm finding my initial invitations going to, because truthfully, like I'm getting a lot of great people coming onto my page based on the influencer accounts I have given them. The other
and those are, and you're seeing that pop up in your feed as Jake Kuiper just started following you. So you send them a message.
Yeah. So like,
got it. Okay. Again, 101 for everyone.
Right. So basically what I do, because I do my massive action inviting in the mornings, like between 5 and 6 a.m., that like all day I see new people coming onto my page and following me. So I'm not inviting people all day. Like my next batch of inviting isn't until the next morning. Like once I hit my mass number, which is just my notebook dictating me based on the lines, that's it. I'm not inviting all day long and in my inbox all day long. Like I let people just come onto my page and continue to follow all day. And then what I do is I'll go back into my notebook based on like the last name I may have sent a message to based on my new followers, and then check like who I've sent messages to, and then just kind of start from there. But it's also going into my IG stories, looking at who is new that I haven't sent a message to yet, and thanking them for watching my stories, and, you know, learning more about my wellness journey. And I just explained that it's not easy for me to be vulnerable online and that I appreciate them being there. And this is what I'm offering next. Is it something you want to learn more about? Like just basically the same kind of message, just tailored a little bit. And again, going into my like most recent post, like tomorrow morning, I'm going to go into my lead generator from tonight and see who is new on there. Like who's new to liking it, who's new to my page, who's commenting that hasn't commented yet. Send them an invite. Just tell them why I'm here. Tell them what my store is about. Tell them what I'm doing. So it's kind of a combination of both, but bulk comes from new followers, where I literally just go to the top of my profile on Instagram. I look at followers and I see who's new and I send them a message, and I just thank them for being a part of like learning about me, and send them an invite right away.
Are you screening any of those? Like, do you go in and if you see that they have 96, I always get this question, like if you see that they have 96,000 followers, do you still send them a message?
That's a good question.
Because they would be great coaches.
Yes, they would. Super influencer there. You know, honestly, like I used to censor a lot more than I do now. And I'll be super honest about this because Bridget and I have talked a little bit about this, like how sometimes it can be really, really easy to skip over a profile or skip over a person because they don't look like you, or they don't seem to have your same kind of lifestyle, or they don't, you know, they may not perfectly align with what you do, right? Like, so it can feel a little bit just out of the box. And I used to really kind of tailor my invitations to people that I really thought were my tribe. But I got to tell you, like Chris Downing's training that he did, whatever, last week, I don't even remember when it was. He just really struck home for me about the concept behind like what we do really is for everybody, guys. And I have had to really push out of my comfort zone a little bit to understand, like, I can help people that want help. They don't have to be like me. They don't have to look like me. They don't have to have the exact same story as I do in any way. Like, that isn't even what I want. Like, what I want is to work with people that want help. What I want is to empower people to take control of their life and do whatever they need to do to feel fulfilled. And so I used to really look at people based on followers and based on content they share and based on how everything looks and based on if they looked like me or not, or if they looked like my tribe. But I got to be honest, like, if you're coming to my page, unless you're from a country we don't serve, or you're like 13, which unfortunately that sort of happens sometimes with 21 Social, because there's just not as many demographic things you can kind of put into place as far as like the searching goes, is from what I understand. I'm pretty much inviting them, at least acknowledging them that they're there. And I've had people that are just not interested at all in what I do, but they still like appreciate the note of being like, hey, I see that you're sharing too online. So that's a really good question. Like I typically send invites to most people that come onto my page, even the people that have big followings. And because Bridget and I have talked about this a lot, like we brainstorm about this a lot, like you just never know. You never know what's real for people. Like you never know if somebody needs a change. You never know if somebody needs encouragement outside of the sphere they already have created. Like, why are all of us here? I mean, I just really feel strongly that what we do really can help anybody, is if they want to accept the help and if they really want like the support from someone. And like I said, Chris Downing like super spoke to my heart last week on his call about, you got to be open to really helping people, like just people that want your support. So that's a good question.
Well, and what I love about that, Erin, because this, you know, it is like a total mindset shift. But I think when you think about the analogy of a storefront, because my whole thing with social media is treat people online the way you would treat them in person, right? And so I think that if you did have a storefront in downtown wherever you live, hopefully whenever someone comes into your store, you would say, hey, hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for stopping by. You know, you would say that. And so I think for me, that was, because at first when I heard this, I was like, I don't really know if that's like something I want to do. But I really liked what you said about that, about how it makes them feel. And like at the end of the day, they can kind of take what they want, but if they're coming into your store and you know that your job is to love on them and to say, hey, thanks for being here, this is what I have to offer. It's almost like when you walk into a store and they're like, can I help you find anything? You know, and sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm looking for this. Other times you're like, actually, I'm just kind of looking around. You know, it kind of gives people that opportunity to just tell you what they are looking for, which I love. Does anyone else have any questions? Did I lose Erin? I think she froze.
Oh, no, I'm back. Sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm back. I lost all the chat though. I don't know. I can't see any of the chat.
Okay. But no, I just love how it really does. It gives you a chance to just acknowledge that they're there. I love that. And I also love what you said, Erin, about how, you know, it's not like you're going to expect a bunch of yeses right away. It's like really the first touch point is how I would look at that. You know, it's like the first time you get to say hi to someone. A lot of times they're not going to buy, but like I'm excited just thinking of what you guys are doing now to follow up a few months from now? Like, if you keep this consistency up, like, how crazy could that, like, what could that turn into? It's so cool to think about. I'm going to look through my questions here.
I'm trying to make sure I have all my notes. The storefront analogy has been the game changer.
Yeah, that really makes it feel so much more approachable, I think, and less like a copy paste.
Yeah, I think, sorry, the one thing I want to mention, because this is something that like I'm always mindful of too, when people seemingly send like copy and paste messages, like the messages I send are copy and pasted, like the script part, but I'm always personalizing with a name. And if there's something extra that I want to address about the person's profile, like I also put that in there. So bots, like things that are bots are automatic, can't personalize. It can't say the person's name. It can't spell it correctly. Like, so stuff like that I am very mindful of. And when I'm doing these invitations, even though it's massive inviting and even though it is copy paste, I'm still personalizing it with names and I'm still adding in a personal touch if I see something that's like, I just feel like would be, you know, an extra thing I could mention to the person I'm inviting. But that's something to keep in mind. Like, I'm not sending, hey girl, and a little paragraph. Like, it's not, my messages are not like that. Like, they feel very authentic to my style and they're personalized to the person with their name. So while like, it's easier for me to do it because it's the same type of script, it still has that personal touch. And I think like, again, it just comes down to not overanalyzing it. Like, people really don't seem to think anything of it so far. So it's just definitely interesting. Oh, and Bridget and I also, this is really important because with this strategy, it can be really easy to send to people that we all may be following. So like, that's one thing Bridget and I have tried to be mindful of. And it's hard to do this because in reality, like, you don't want to be following a bunch of coaches because that's what ends up going into your feed. But Bridget and I are following each other now because now we can see who is following the same kind of person. If we have similar followers come onto our page, and just always make sure we're communicating back and forth about that so we're not inundating people. So like, that's another element to this strategy that you just have to be mindful of. So like, it's not bot-like where you're just like massive inviting without being intentional. Like, we still are being very intentional. It's just at a more rapid pace because we have like a copy paste element to it with some personalization and making sure that we're still not inundating the same people. Because Bridget and I, because we're both using 21 Social, like, we do have similar followers that sometimes come onto both of our pages. So it's something we're always kind of just trying to be mindful of too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, for me, knowing you guys personally, like, I know that you would never send a message that was just like super, like, not deep. But I think that's a great point for the new coach who is sitting there going, oh, maybe I'll just say, hey, you want to join my next group? Like, that's not at all what you're doing. You're really taking time to share your heart, share a little bit about your page, and then welcoming them in, which I'm sure is why you are having success. I love that. And I love that this is also super duplicatable. Like, I feel like no matter where you're at in your business, this is something that you could literally implement tomorrow. The main thing, and I'm with you, Erin, like, as far as, I think the biggest problem that a lot of new coaches have is just they don't have enough eyes on their stuff. And so with 21 Social, like, but here's the thing, you have to be putting out, I think, quality content in order for those things to work. Like, if you're putting out quality content and then they see your page, they're like, oh, of course I want to follow it. If you're signing up for 21 Social and, you know, you've had 2 Instagram posts in your whole life, like, they're probably not going to follow you. So I think that's the other key piece is, you know, as a new coach, having great content, but then also, you know, not stopping there, also maybe making that reinvestment into your business too. So I love that. You guys have other questions for Erin or Bridget?
One thing I was going to ask is how often are you like circling back or following up, or maybe I missed this. My phone died for a second, so I apologize. I'm back and better than ever. And Amber, I have my computer now, so we can be back in love with one another. How often are you like circling back, and like, do you have a system that you're going to put in place for like, you know, a month from now if you haven't heard from anybody, or do you have like stars on those types of people?
Yeah. So basically, like here, I'll kind of show you this. Like everyone that's highlighted are the people I've sent like the full information to, like down to what my groups offer, what program we're doing. Like I don't really dive into like names of programs and stuff. I really like, and I'm happy to share my scripts and things that I use, but I really try to keep it somewhat general and help people understand like that, like what I offer is much more than just like doing a workout program. So all the orange highlights are the people that have all of the details. So those will be the first people that I follow up with. I've just now started to follow up with some of the people I started to invite on October 1st. And my plan is to kind of just go back and, you know, follow up with them around then the start of my next group or right before the start of my next group to see if the timing might be better. But because this is still new, like I'm only this is the start of my 4th week of doing this. Like I still am trying to kind of figure out the best way to track and follow up all that stuff. I know Bridget has started to implement Streak, Google Streak. That is something that Kate Morgan talks about how she does with tracking and following up with people. I have not done that yet. I've just stuck to my notebook for now. But my plan is to start to really hone back in on these people that have the full details and just see kind of where they're at for this next month and if they're interested in joining me at this point in time. So that's how, I mean, like I said, tracking has been the biggest pain point of all in my business. I've never really honed in the way I should. I was always the coach that felt like I had so many conversations. And I mean, I did, but I didn't really have a good grasp of what the actual number volume of my conversations was and like who I actually really should be following up with. So this has been like tremendously valuable to me from a tracking standpoint. So now I just have to continue to like figure out what's the best way for me to track follow-ups. For now, this seems to be okay.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Oh, please.
I was just going to say, when it comes to when you are sending out invites to, I had been sending out invites prior to this, obviously, for people that viewed my stories or liked my posts. And if they were continually to view my story and like my post, they would get an invite a month later as well. And so even someone that just joined me this month, I looked back at my messages with her, and she had never replied back, but she had been watching my stories for 5 months. And every single month, I sent her an invite to another group because she kept watching my stories. So she clearly cared about what I did. And she finally joined me this month. She finally replied back and said, yes, I would love more info. So just because they're ghosting you, and if they're still following you and still liking and encouraging you and still in your store, then in 1 month, they're going to get an invite from a next group. So just keep that in mind. You're going to get ghosted, and it's totally okay.
One thing that I just really want to make sure that I kind of hop in here real quick and say is that, like, you guys are obviously taking incredible action. So that's like amazing. You guys are providing some sort of follow-up and you're tracking it. That's amazing. You guys have gotten out of your head and you've created this mindset that you know what you want to do and how you have to do it. That's amazing. You are creating new relationships and conversations. That's amazing. I want to make sure that everybody realizes that you guys have found a great system for you, right? And there's going to be some things just like I'm going to lose my mind if tomorrow we hop on that 3-week call and everyone's like, I sent out 500 messages just last night after listening to the call, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. You have to find what works best for you in this business. And there's going to be some things that you can take away from the call tonight that you can go out and implement. And there's going to be some things that you probably are just going to want to be like, look, that's not my thing. I want to remind each and every one of you on this call, whether you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling inspired, that you are an entrepreneur. This is not like Erin and Bridget are not going to be checking in on you. You don't report to them. Amber and I don't check in and make you report to us. You get to run the business the way that you want to run it. And so I think it's just important to note that they're figuring some really good things out here. But like Kate Morgan might not be your jam either. Like you might listen to Melanie Mitchell and be like, look, I'm doing it the way Melanie does it. Or I'm doing it the way that Danielle Natoni's doing it. I don't know. Like we all have different people that we relate to better in this business, and that's okay. But I think our job as uplines is to acknowledge that Bridget and Erin have something really good going for them, and it's important for you guys to hear different perspectives in this business. Otherwise, you're going to get to hear the same exact thing week after week after week. So I just wanted to make sure I inserted that, because they are 10xing their actions, and that's what I want you guys to see, and I want you to be inspired by, and I want you to go back and find like the thing that works best for you, but like make sure you're taking something from this call and implementing it. Is that fair? Cool? Because I'm super impressed, but I'm more impressed with the fact that you guys have all these systems in place. That's what's really cool to me, because that's a system that you guys can work. And I know I asked Erin this when we were getting ready, and I know I touched on it, but like I think a big thing for people is how sustainable is this?
I mean, for me, like I even 4 or 6 months ago, guys, like my power hour was just trying to build relationships. And it felt slow and exhausting, and it didn't really feel like I was getting to the place where I could, like, in my head invite somebody. And I just didn't really feel like I was getting the traction that I really wanted in my business from the power hour that I was doing. And so with feeling that way, I kind of felt like I could never unplug. Like I kind of felt like I had to be on top of things all the time. And if one person said, "Oh yeah, I want more information," I would be responding to them right away, and having to be an instant messenger because this one person is saying yes, I better get them to sign up, or I'm going to miss XYZ, or I'm not going to hit my goals, or I just couldn't let it go. Because I didn't really feel like I was accomplishing a ton, if that makes sense. So this process has helped my mindset, my mental health overall, I think, with my business, because I do the massive inviting, and I know for sure that I have done something to really move my business forward the 5 days a week that I'm doing it. And it's allowed me to really unplug on the weekends the way I want to. It's allowed me to stay off of my phone the way I want to throughout the day. And it's allowed me to focus on creating content and writing and doing things that I love. And it's given me more focused time with my family, which is what I needed. And it's just allowed me to kind of rein back in what's most important to me with this business. And while I want it to be a sustainable, amazing opportunity for my family, I want it to be something that brings me joy and that keeps my mental space in a positive place. And I can honestly say that there have been times in this business where I have not felt that way, where I have felt burned out, totally done, exhausted, and just over it. And I can honestly say that being able to just do massive inviting and kind of letting the rest go as I feel the need to at different points of focus time throughout the day, it's been very freeing for me. And it is sustainable from my standpoint. And I think that's just because I've been in a lot of different places of trying to work it in different ways, and it wasn't working for me because it didn't allow me to unplug and really let it go. Because you have to find ways to let this business go every single day, or it's just not going to work. It won't work for your headspace. And that was my biggest problem. And it's something that I'm always continuing to evolve and work more on. But this by far has just I'm not asking myself who I'm inviting anymore, trying to run after people. I know exactly what my process is. I'm going to stick to it and see what happens. And I'm able to unplug. And that's been a gift, to be honest.
I love that. And, I know I joked with Bridget when she had told me that. She's like, I forget what call we were on. And she's like, yeah, I'm pretty much done with my work by 6 a.m. every day. And now for you to be like, yeah, I'm doing that too. And it's great. I think we all can learn something from you guys. And what's cool is that is duplicatable for every single person. Because I feel like a lot of times in this business, it's oh, I work full time, or, oh, I don't have this or that. And it's if you can, and whether it's 5 a.m. or not, whatever it is, if you can set aside an hour a day that for sure is going to be that, I think that like you said, it takes the pressure off of the rest of the day, because you actually have an hour that you know is laser focused, which I just think it's brilliant. You wish you had done this a long time ago. Yeah, I just love that. Because it's true. I was talking to Alyssa about this today. I said, you know, my favorite thing to do, like what you said, Erin, is write content. And I love writing. I love sharing my heart. But I find that in this business, if you don't have that stuff out of the way, it's really hard to get into that creative space because you're constantly thinking of what you still have to do. And so it's like if you can knock out those like business activities, then the rest of the day is like, all right, I can just do whatever. And then your mind goes to places where you actually want to go. So now I'm like, maybe we should maybe you guys should like lead us and help us all to get on the early morning train. And we can get our butts out of bed. I love it. Any other questions for them? Jake, do you have anything else?
No, I just thought that I thought this call was really fun. And Erin, like I just want to say thank you for taking time and putting together some thoughts on this topic. I just thought you were an absolute rock star tonight. I don't know, like I'm just very, very impressed with your training and just giving people just again a different option for this business and a way that they can 10x it. And I just am so fired up about that mindset. And I know I said this to Bridget this weekend too, but like, I mean it so sincerely. I cannot wait to see where you guys are sitting in January and February, because we know it's a lag and we're behind 2 or 3 months and you guys are taking massive action right now. So in theory, this should be like a great harvest for you come January, February. And you know, for anybody who listened to this call tonight and goes out and starts implementing something, if nothing else, the mindset that they can go out there, they can invite anybody. And if they say no, or they don't hear back, it doesn't mean that they're mad at them or life is over. It just means they didn't get back to them or the timing's not right or whatever. Like if there's anything else that people can take away from this, it's just that we have to send messages in order to get people to come into the business. And if we don't, we've got nobody to blame but ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. I love your energy and confidence. It's just like, we can feel that you're having fun with the business, you know, which is like, gosh, how cool is that? Having fun with the stuff that's like the hardest part of the business. So cool. I love it. Awesome. Well, this was so great. I have it all recorded here, so we will get it up shortly. And, you know, let's just kind of keep the conversation open. If you guys have questions about this after the fact, post them to the team page. I'm sure Erin would be happy to answer anything. Bridget would be happy to answer anything. But I'm excited. This is just so, I mean, the one question you always have to ask yourself when you're growing a team in a business is this duplicatable? And I think 100% it is, which is why it's so exciting. So thank you guys so much for sharing just seriously your playbook, because it's obviously working. We're seeing you at both the top of the leaderboards every month. So thank you. Yeah, and we will see you guys back in the team page. Also, I don't know if this has been weird for you guys too when you log into your phones, but lately whenever someone posts a photo wherever it is, like it'll show that it posted, but it doesn't show me the text. And I think that a lot of us are probably missing, at least I know I have to like go back into like the team page and refresh the whole group, and then I can see all the text. We've been getting a lot less likes on stuff, and I think that's why honestly our numbers are lower tonight, because people probably just saw the photo and didn't even see the stuff. So just something to kind of keep your team in the loop about as you talk to your coaches, that to kind of double check and look at the page differently than maybe how they have in the past. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks so much. We'll talk to you later. Bye.